I've created, or I've not created it, but I've found a space where, you know, it's a different terrain. So, you know, I as opposed to trying to kind of, you know, insert myself in a place that might not have might not be welcoming, or might not have a knowledge of what I am, or kind of looks at me as other. I, you know, kind of enjoy being in a space, in a terrain, or what have you, in an environment where I am embraced, where people are like me, where I'm building, you know, just new ways of doing things. And so I think much more about building that than negotiating how to get into this. You know what I mean? Like I'm like kind of concerned with my own house, and if people want to come over and visit from other houses, great. But I'm really kind of focused on this, and I think the more that I focused on my own space, the more that other people want to come to visit. You know, I mean, there was a time when I was knocking on those doors and, you know, really concerned with being recognized in a dominant culture, and it was something about maybe turning my back on those ideas and those desires, and concentrating on what was in front of me and what was really beautiful and organic to me within my own community, my own culture, that started to ignite interest from the outside in.
Any funny stories to tell us when you knocked on
Any funny stories to tell you? Well, I was a publicist.
And I underscore funny.
Funny, yeah, they're always knocked down, drag out funny. You know, no, I was a publicist for many, many years, and in the studio system I had an agency that I called the Duvernay Agency for a long time, specializing in marketing and publicity of studio product, TV, film. And so, you know, I would find myself sitting in rooms, you know, listening to all kinds of bizarre things about what Black people do and who we are and how to reach us. I'd be like, wow, this is crazy, you know? You know, and so being privy to a lot of that, when I started to make my own films, you know, it was very clear that either my film was going to end up with people in a room like that, or would not be let into those rooms at all. Either way wasn't good. So I had to figure out, before I started making films, what would be the fate of my films. And what's got me looking inward in terms of our own community as a Black woman. And as I started filmmaking, I started from that place. So I never really took my films to, you know, had my reels under my arm and trying to knock on doors that I didn't think would be welcoming. I kind of always started from that place, and it was only because I had this previous knowledge of a publicist of what that place was like. And I think that's a unique experience, because most new filmmakers have never been in those rooms listening to those conversations. So there's a sense of hope that what you made is going to transcend, you know, whatever preconceived notions of what, you know, Black people or women or what this film is going to be or should be. And I had the blessing now to be in those rooms and hear some not so funny things said, and to be able to just kind of say, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to carve out another place.